We often hear that Canada is a country that embraces diversity, a place where culture, language, and identity can come together to create something richer. But sometimes, even in spaces built to support immigrants, the unspoken rules of belonging are shaped not by who we are, but by how we sound. Let me share a story that really stayed with me. It happened during my time working at a nonprofit organization. We were planning a major event, and the plan was to include speakers from various stakeholder groups, including funders and a representative of the immigrant community whom we served. The planning meeting took place in our office. At the table were several people, including myself, a newcomer from Iran, with Farsi as my first language and English as my fourth. In that organization, I worked more directly on supporting newcomers. As we were discussing who should be chosen among our newcomer clients to speak as a newcomer representative, the senior leader said, "We need an immigrant who speaks English well." It was weird for me. I thought, you are looking for an immigrant and your first concern is how they talk? The more I sat with that sentence, the more uncomfortable I felt. What did they really mean by well? Because many second language speakers among our clients spoke English every day and they were able to communicate clearly and effectively. But they weren't looking for someone who spoke English well enough to be understood. They were looking for someone who spoke in a way that met their specific expectation, someone who spoke with what they considered standard English, without grammatical errors and with pronunciation that sounds like that of a first language speaker as much as possible. That moment was hard, not because anyone was openly unkind, but because it revealed something deeper, an unspoken standard that said your voice only counts if it sounds a certain way. And it hurt. Because the event was meant to celebrate immigrants, to give us a voice. Yet suddenly that voice had to sound polished, error-free, and professional with minimal accent, even if that meant choosing someone who no longer faced the linguistic challenges that newcomers deal with. It made me feel as though second language speakers were excluded, as if our story, our experience, and even our presence didn't fit the mold they wanted to present to the public. Second language speakers like me often aren't being judged for our skills, contribution, and who we are, but for how we sound. And that's not just disappointing, it's a lost opportunity for Canada, our second home. The experience reminded me that linguistic and accent bias don't only exist in job interviews or customer service. They exist even in organizations that work for inclusion. Bias quietly shaped who we see as representable and who we think will be taken seriously. It also made me ask myself, when do we start valuing how people sound over what they have to say? And why is an accent, something that connects us to our roots, so often treated like something that we should hide? In conclusion, accents are a part of our identity. They tell the story of where we come from, the journey we have taken, and the richness of our experiences, including how many languages we can speak. Embracing accents means embracing the richness of diversity. Let's challenge the norms. Let's create spaces where everyone feels valued, not for how they sound, but for who they are. Have you experienced something like this before? Have you ever felt like your accent made others question your ability or legitimacy? Please share your thoughts or experiences in the comments. Let's talk about it because change starts with conversations like this. Thank you so much for watching. Your voice matters, and so does your accent.